Here's Dan Shapiro to help you find your edge, master your process, and own your future.
Hey guys, good evening everybody. Welcome to another edition of the AccessToTrader.com nightly wrap-up show. Hope everybody's doing well. Guys, take a moment out. Literally it takes half a second. Click a like, support the channel. Hopefully, again, I will continue to do my best to kind of point you in the right direction. So if you've been watching this broadcast, you've been following along, we've been in the webinar for the last 16 years. We have a pretty basic concept, okay? Above the 50-day moving average is bullish, risk on. Below the 50-day moving average, risk off, it's selling. It's very, very basic. This has nothing to do with the PS60 theory or the pivots or me or anything to do with anything else, right? This is just basic technical analysis. The last thing you want to do is buy stocks into strength, especially if the entire market is undersupplied, right? It's very, very tough. I hear people talking about breakouts so hard in this market. First of all, where are the breakouts that you speak of? And number two is, well, yeah, that's the whole point. I mean, the IWM already lost it. And if you've been following along for years and years and years, the one thing is we don't know, okay, how long the bulls will be below the 50-day average. It could be 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, going back to 2022. We were there for 13 months, okay? So we don't know. The last time we were below the 50-day moving average was right over here on February the 21st, right? February the 21st, and that sell cycle lasted from February 21st. And you can see here what happened, right? First close below the 50-day moving average. And you can see what transpired the days after, and the days after, and the days after. And they tried to rally, and then there's more selling, and more selling, and more selling, right? Till we finally got to the April lows, right? The April lows was the bottom, quote unquote, the bottom. But the point is you're going from February all the way down to the middle of April, which was the bottom. Nobody knew it was going to be the bottom, but the point was the bottom. And what happened after, as everybody knows, once we got back above the 50-day moving average, right? Again, you can see here the price action. We lost 525 on the close, and we went to 402. That's 23 points in 2 months that we lost on the Qs. Again, that's my point. Below the 50-day moving average is bearish. And when we got back above the 50-day moving average, and this was the first close above, which was 477, as everybody knows what happens, we went to pretty much all-time highs, right? We went to kind of all-time highs. And that, and here we are. So here we are. This is now the first close below the 50-day moving average. I'm not going to go back into the whole history lesson. All you have to do is watch video after video after video to kind of let us hear, okay? But this is the facts. We are below the 50-day moving average for the very, very first time. It doesn't make a difference now how we got here, but again, go back to video after video after video. The point is we are here. Here is what happens next, okay? Just because we are below the 50-day moving average doesn't mean every single day the market's going to go down. Again, like I said a few minutes ago, we don't know how long we are going to be. Tomorrow, the bulls can reclaim back the 50-day, which as of today is 606.30. As you can see, we closed at 603.60. So we closed first time below the 50-day. So we don't know how long we're going to be below, right? It could be a day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 weeks, a month, a year. We don't know, right? But the point is this is now a clear sell signal, okay? Bull's job tomorrow is get back above the 50-day moving average as quick as possible. The bear's job, continue to build below that 606 level. The longer we continue to build below 606, the higher probability that we will start attacking last Friday's low. Guys, I am going to give you last Friday's low, okay? Like I've been giving you as a thank you for tuning in, spending a couple of minutes with me. I'm going to give you the price action where price discovery will take place. It's not a secret. It's in front of everybody's charts, but the lows from last Friday where we got the kick save was 597, right? Everybody see it? This hammer here that was put in 597. And today was an inside day. The bulls tried to rally, as we talked about in the video over the weekend. It was a very lackluster attempt on after a lot of names that rallied on Friday off their lows. Make a long story short, this is an inside day. Didn't take out the previous day's high, didn't take out the previous day's low. However, when it tried to rally, got rejected off the 5-day moving average, the same way it got rejected last Friday. And now the only question is, what happens next? Do we lose 597 and start going aggressively into the next support, roughly around 585, 587? Or do we reclaim back the 5-day moving average? Excuse me, first of all, we have to reclaim back 606.30s on a close. So the bulls get back above 606.30s on a close. The bears get rid of that 597 and we start making the next way down. That's it, guys. There is no room for interpretation. There is no reason to have a healthy discussion about this. This is history. This is price action. All you need to do is open up your charts, insert the 50-day moving average, and see what happens when a stock loses the 50-day and what happens when a stock reclaims the 50-day. That's it. Now, somebody's going to turn around and say, well, damn, the market is oversold. Yeah, I get that a lot when we lose the 50-day moving average. Okay, here's the facts. We're still up 17% for the year. How can we be oversold if we're up 17% of the year? And oh, by the way, does this look like a chart that's oversold? So now that we got those two things out of the way, that's it, guys. Over the 50-day bullish, below the 50 days bearish. There's really nothing left to talk about. There's some names that I'm watching for tomorrow. There's a whole bunch of names that I'm watching for tomorrow that if they confirm last Friday's lows, they should get hit, right? Let me give you some names, right? Let me just give you some names. Meta, watch Meta, right? Watch Meta. It held Friday's lows today and Friday. Watch Meta, watch Apple. This is very, very close. Really, really close to losing the 20-day moving average. Just losing the 20-day moving average. This is 3 weeks worth of range. This thing will get hit. Look at Pinterest. Pinterest had crappy earnings, blah, 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 blah. If this thing loses earnings low, this thing should get hit as well. NVIDIA reports on Wednesday. Is they going to save the market? I mean, look, you got SoftBank. SoftBank getting rid of their $6 billion position in NVIDIA. Peter Thiel is selling his whole position in NVIDIA. Your guess is as good as mine what's going to happen on, your guess is as good as mine what's going to happen on earnings. But if this thing loses the 50-day moving average tomorrow and confirms even Friday's lows, I'll be a seller ahead of earnings. Why not? Right? Why not? If the market's going down and we think the market could potentially get hit below last Friday's lows, why not? It's taking a trade like anything else. So watch that as well. Let me give you some other names. Apple, we talked about. Meta, we talked about. The Qs, 597. NVIDIA, watch. There's a lot of names, Jeff. There's a lot of names. I really don't feel like going through the whole list. Again, if you're a trader and you believe in data, you do your own homework. But that 597 is going to be the ultimate line in the sand for the bulls. If you have a long-term portfolio, don't worry. Eventually the market will be right. You'll be fine. If you're a trader, take advantage of the price action, right? Take advantage of the price action. Market goes up, market goes down. Use both sides of the ledger, and you should be okay trading via data, not your opinion. Hi, guys. Have a great night. God bless. Let's see what happens tomorrow. Let's see if the bulls come back. Let's see if the bears lose last Friday's lows. Something's got to give, and our job is to figure it out. Guys, have a great night. I will see you all tomorrow.